You want to talk about going to Washington, D.C. now?
Oh, well, that was just, I was in high school then.
Right.
So we've gotten, that was my junior year in high school. And my, no, it wasn't. I was like 15, so it was 1935. I didn't graduate till 38. My sister's husband, who lived in Vicksburg, had to go to Washington to, he had a job with the Social Security Administration. And I looked it up, and it started in 1935.
Right.
So I didn't know anything about what that was like. They needed somebody to go with them. There was he and his wife, and they had a child, a baby who was about 18 months old. And so they were going to drive to Washington, and they thought if I went, I could entertain the baby while they were doing their thing.
Right.
So we drove from Mississippi to Washington, and that was a big education for me.
And that was
go through the mountains and
right. That was the furthest that you'd ever been.
Oh, yes.
From home at that point.
Yes, we had been to Arkansas. I don't remember going on that trip. I remember being there. My mother's sister lived there, my aunt, and they lived in El Dorado, Arkansas. And I don't know, was there an oil well or something there? I think that where he might have worked, and but I remember being there, and because they had canned milk. They had Carnation or
Right.
Pet or something, and I'd never heard of it. I loved it.
It's funny.
Okay,
It's
so
weird. Just the things that you pull out that you remember of these trips. You remember the canned milk from your trip to Arkansas. You know, like it's just those little weird random things. That's so funny to me.
Well, it is so weird that I remember that.
Right.
But speaking of that family, there was a funny incident when they visited us one time. And I remember my Aunt Becky, and my mother standing outside by the car when they were ready to leave. And they were going to get in the car, and they were crying because Arkansas was the state next to ours, right above Louisiana. It wasn't that far, but it was to us because of the transportation.
Right.
So they were outside saying goodbye, and they were crying, and my aunt said, "Well, if I don't see you anymore down here, I'll see you up yonder." Stuck in my mind.